For example, I lived in Los Angeles for a year, and I knew a lot of people there that were struggling actors that did not have the actor archetype, but were there because they thought if they became famous, somehow that would heal the wound inside of them, that went there seeking recognition and validation they didn't get from their parents. That is not destiny. That is chasing a wound, and that will lead you into more fate. And one person in particular that I crossed paths with, had been there for years, and I knew intuitively it was never going to happen for him.
So is fate bad, destiny good?
No, fate can direct you. So if this person, for example, that I'm talking about from LA had realized that he had the teacher archetype, and that if he went into teaching drama or teaching something with high school students, which is exactly where I knew he should go, then everything, he would have felt fulfilled. He would have had probably one of the best teaching jobs. He maybe even would have gone and done some drama work in college with other college students. I mean, he could have gone anywhere with that archetype had he aligned to it, and the law of attraction could have supported that. But if you don't go in harmony with what your soul's agreed to, then you're going to come up against fated redirections.
Why is it so hard for us to grasp our souls?
Because I think we seek that external form of validation. We want that we've defined power as a society in a capitalist culture as the stuff we could get.
Yeah, but this has been going on from time immemorial. Since,
Absolutely.
Caveman, cavewoman days. It's like the seekers have always been attacked. I mean, that's why monks lived in monasteries, because they bonded together just for protection.
But we're at a different shift now, and that's what's happening. We're at a different shift of times in which the mystic leaves the monastery now and lives, a secular life in the real world.
Oh, I interviewed one, Wayne Teasdale, who's since passed on. He was a Catholic monk,
but I'm saying the mystic archetype is now individuating. It's transforming into a different path.
Does that mean the monk or the mystic can now have sex too?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh God! All right. Well, what are some of your favorite chapters or points in the book? Because I know there's a chapter, and I apologize. I just saw the book today. I mean, had I had a chance, I would have read it. It sounds very interesting. Like, for example, selecting and accepting your body. What's that one about?
Well, it's just about coming up to this idea that in our culture, the beauty standard we've established is trying to homogenize people to that beauty standard through plastic surgery, etc., versus really accepting that, hey, this is how I look, and I'm not black or white about plastic surgery, but I'm saying that it depends on the intention you come to it with. If it's trying to accentuate and bring out the best of who you individually are to be you, great. But if you're trying to be a star or someone famous because you think that'll get you attention, well, that might not be the best intention.
Right. It's like putting on a mask or a Band-Aid over the wound. It's still there.
And it's still going to be there. So, I think that there's 5 fundamental tools I think that are very important for transforming fate into destiny. There's acceptance. So you got to accept, the lot you've been given. And then I think from acceptance you go into a place of trying to understand how to get conscious of the choices you make, and then you want to actually surrender choice over to the soul, let the soul decide, and then ignite with the law of attraction to bring you the best positive. And the law of attraction to me is about being grateful. It's about gratitude. It's about animating your life with positive energy. But then there's also, I believe, other forces in the universe that you can sort of call upon through prayer to bring them into your life as an intervention to destiny.
What would you call those forces?
I think it's up to the individual to call those forces what they will. I think it's the divine.
What do you call it?
Well, I have a lot of names for that energy. I mean, it depends on what I'm trying to. I have a whole Greco-Roman pantheon of gods and goddesses that I'm aware of, and at the same time, I do believe that all is one. So there is this sort of singular life force that we all know intrinsic in us.
Okay, life force, vital energy,
universe,
chi, prana.
spirit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that can come through invocations. So in other words, if you get up someday and you're like, you know what, I'm sorry, I just cannot deal with the law of attraction today. I'm in a crappy mood. I've got to ask the universe, write on a piece of paper, please, get my back today. I'm in a bad mood. Bring me some good vibes. That will do it. That will bring you good energy into your life that, you personally maybe at that moment are too weak to go near. So I believe that there is that grace also.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned asking questions, which I firmly believe, because we have at least two minds, conscious and unconscious.
Sure.
And one mind asks the question, the other mind answers it. And what I find is a lot of times I'll ask a question like that, and the answer will just kind of just flow into my life, and I go, oh, I forgot. I actually got what I wanted.
Yeah.
All right. And then what is the soul esteem?
That's actually the subject of my upcoming book that I'm just going to start working on this summer. Soul esteem, what in my experience with people, the key ingredient to animating your highest potential in life is how you feel about your worth. And what we've been taught, and this is fine, this is normal, is how to get worth from our environment initially. So we go to our parents, we set goals for ourselves, we accomplish things in the world, and we get esteem from that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that inherently. However, when it comes to wanting to live a life of destiny, which ultimately means serving other people, because destiny is service to each other, really, through the gifts and skills that you have. My experience is that people are blocked in destiny because they don't have the confidence and they don't have the innate feelings of self-worth, and they do this sort of cyclical spinning around of trying to go back to their childhood and their wounding to figure out why. When it really comes down to learning a new way to source esteem from the soul, from the divine inside of you, the Buddha nature inside of you.
Well, it's interesting that you say that people fall into old habits or old cycles. Sigmund Freud called it repetitive obsession and repetitive compulsion.
Sure.
And then Freud, when his work was translated from German into English, all the references to the soul were deleted. And when he heard about that, he came to the United States. He said, psychoanalysis will never work here. You have to include the soul.
You have to include the soul. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a missing ingredient in actually, when I was in college, clinical psychology didn't have any language for that at all. So I studied Jungian to get some sort of way in, you know.
Well, and the problem is with the soul is how do you quantify it? You know, it's
Right.
like, how much does the soul weigh?
Right.
You know, where could you buy it?
And how do you bring it into your life? So we can talk about soul esteem. It sounds like a great concept, but how do you practically really get it inside of you, engaged in your life, to where it becomes a power of potential for you versus just a nice philosophy?
Well, we've got about 2 minutes.
Wow.
Anything? What do you want to say the last couple minutes? What do you want to emphasize?
I do hope everyone gets a chance to check out Transforming Fate into Destiny. I think that would be a great, if they're feeling drawn to anything that we've discussed, a great way to go deeper into my material.
Or even before you bought the book, just think about that title, because the title
Absolutely.
says a lot.
I wrote it as a fundamental, it was my contribution and as a fundamental guideline to living an empowered life.
Did it just come to you like a wow?
That actually came to me through a lot of life interventions. That wasn't the initial book I'd contracted to write for Hay House, my publisher. And I actually, through some circumstances which I explain in the book, Transforming Fate into Destiny, you actually can read about why I even wrote it, because that's actually a whole
Can you
book
tell
in
that
itself.
story in 30 seconds?
No. I could try. Just a good friend of mine died in a crash. My mother should have died in a crash within 3 weeks of each other, and she didn't. And my good friend should have survived, and she didn't. And it was just, I knew something was really pressing on me to do something about this idea of fate and destiny, and how we can work with these forces as part of our lives.
Well, if our viewing audience wants to find more about you, the Inner Quest show, your book, stay tuned to the credits at the end. Until next time, we wish you good health, good spirits, and good fortune.
Thanks
Thank you
very
so
much.
much, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you.
For more information about this show, our guests, Infinity Foundation, or any of our other programs, please visit our website, infinityfoundation.org, or call us at 847-831-8828.